The changing of seasons can affect how you feel. 1 in 5 people experience some form of depression, no matter the time of year.
At the American Psychiatric Association Foundation, our vision is to build a mentally healthy nation for all. Visit mentallyhealthynation.org to learn more.
The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
This is All Things Elite. Welcome back to All Things Elite. Load up the pod, man, it's on when we speak. Rich right here, let me warm it up for Austin and Floyd. Couldn't be no one but the boys. When it come to All Things Elite from the fan perspective, swear, man, it ain't no question. Hear from them first. Swear, man, they putting in the work. No, they had to get me for the verse. Social Suplex Network's on. Hours at a time in your headphones. Austin and Floyd on the microphone. Backing out on the rant, getting in the zone. Pulling up the show, give it 7 stars, you already know. Who else could it be but the show with the proclivity for positivity? I'm gone.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 258th episode of Social Suplex's podcast about AEW with a proclivity for positivity. Welcome to All Things Elite. My name is Austin Sumwitz. I am the host of this lovely show. Joining with me, as always, is my good buddy and friend, Mr. Floyd Johnson Jr. My man, happy Thanksgiving. How are you doing?
Happy Thanksgiving. Yeah, you're on the Eastern time zone, so it is Thanksgiving, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, we still got 22 minutes here in the old central part of America, but happy Thanksgiving. So I got to tell you, I like to blow up my wife real quick, and this is going to be very quick so we can get into the show. But my favorite thing in the world is my sister's potato salad. And growing up, I know people won't understand this, but potato salad, we had potato salad instead of mashed potatoes at Thanksgiving. I didn't even know mashed potatoes was Thanksgiving food until I got older. I always tell people, you can kind of brainwash your kids if you want to. But I grew up thinking, you don't eat mashed potatoes at Thanksgiving. You eat potato salad, right? So my sister's potato salad, my favorite thing ever, right? And I remember when I got with Crystal, I was like, Crystal, man, what would be super awesome is if you got with my sister and learned how to make potato salad that way. Because my sister's not young. And if something was to happen to her, it would kind of pass away with her, right? So I was like, you know what, you should learn how to make it. No, not to replace her or anything, but, have a make a backup. Well, while I was gone to New Jersey, I guess she reached out to my sister, got all the ingredients, and today, while I was asleep during the day, she made the potato salad. And I went and tasted it, and it tastes the same. She got it right the first fucking time. I got to give her a shout out because this morning, my friend Jackie Rodriguez, if she's listening, gave me some sleep pills that has THC in it. Well, this morning it only has 5 milligrams of THC, and I was like, I want to sleep all day, so let me take 2, and I took 2, dude. And I took that at about 6:30 this morning, right?
Right.
And I will tell you, I was still groggy and out of it at 7:00 tonight. And this evening. So I had to taste salad alone, and she's like, you don't seem excited about it. I was like, I'm really not excited about anything because I'm basically still high. And I watched Dynamite, and I was like, I can't tell you if the show was really good or if I was just so zoned out I couldn't pay attention to it. So we're not talking about Dynamite today. Me and Austin decided this is just going to be our full gear review so we can get in and get out and enjoy our Thanksgiving. But I was just saying, I watched Dynamite tonight, and I'm going to have to watch it again now that after 13 hours, I am finally feeling awake.
Yeah, and I've been unbelievably busy because it is state championship week for high school football. This weekend, I'm going to be crazy busy, so we made sure to do the episode today so that we could talk about Full Gear that just took place this past weekend, and then we're going to enjoy Thanksgiving. I'm going to be filming some high school football state championship stuff, and then we'll be back, and then we'll be able to talk about Dynamite and the start of the Continental Classic. We'll record that on Friday night, and then hopefully have that guy up to you guys by this weekend.
So you might not know this, or you might have paid attention. I don't know. I did an actual little 30-minute Continental Classic preview because I wanted to get something out before the thing started.
I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I did that last night. It was just like I just pressed record and just started talking about the members of the thing, but I didn't talk about the pay-per-view, my thoughts on the pay-per-view at all, because I knew we were going to talk about it tonight. So let's go. Let's talk about Full Gear.
Ton to get to with this show, but before we get into everything, make sure you guys continue to download this fine show on YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Turn automatic downloads on, and whether you listen to us on any of those platforms, whatever you listen to us on, give us a share with your friends, family, coworkers, whoever you wish. Rate, review, and subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. And be sure to follow us on Twitter at ATLEpod. You can also follow at Social Suplex, who make this show possible, and check out all the other shows they have on their network. I am at Austin Sumowitz, SZUMOWICZ. And Floyd is at Floyd Johnson Jr. on Twitter. And I think we can just get this out of the way real quick before we get into the pay-per-view because, I mean, Twitter's been in a fucking wreck and a buzz. But big news of the week, I guess, should just be the interesting amount of drama that has been taking place involving AEW, Tony Khan, GCW, Effie, and Ricky Starks. It's a whole lot of shit right now. So basically, Ricky Starks did CVV's podcast, which is a good listen. It's a fun little listen. But he talked about why he's just been at home, and Ricky made an appearance at GCW as well and said some things. And eventually, he was booked to face Matt Cardona at a GCW show. Effie said some stuff on a podcast as well, and that led to Tony Khan, because Ricky Starks is still a AEW talent. He's still signed by AEW. He still is under contract by AEW. Tony Khan immediately pulled Ricky Starks from those GCW shows, and that is kind of where we're at right now. So, I mean, Floyd, if you want to go into deeper detail on some of the stuff right now, I'm just bummed because, like, again, this is a situation where, again, it's been so long since Ricky's been on TV that, like, we're in a position right now where either you bring Ricky back, he's not happy, and we got to try to meet this at the pass, or you don't bring him back, you keep him off TV, he's angry, and eventually you get to the point where he just gets cut, and then he goes to WWE, tries to find some success, and if he does, then, you fumbled the bag. So it's just one of those things where it's just, a shitty situation. And as a guy who's a fan of Ricky Starks, I would just like to be able to see him wrestle. And we're just not really in that spot right now. But, me personally, it's just like, just call it and just be like, you know what, we're done with this and just get it off your hands. But that's just me. And I wanted them to do that with a different guy who is also no longer with the company. And that got even worse than what this is right now. So it's just a mess. And Twitter's all going crazy at each other and all that kind of stuff. And people are speculating about who's Ricky talking about in the podcast? Who's he referencing and all that kind of stuff. And it's just like, oh boy, here comes more shit. Drama, once again, not escaping in the pro wrestling world, in Twitter, or in this damn company. Floyd, if you want to touch on this a little bit, and then we'll get to talking about the Full Gear, which, again, that's more the positive side. I just wanted to get this out of the way real quick.
I posted it on Twitter today, and I posted a GIF, because I think all of this, like, whoever you believe, whoever you don't believe, whatever side you on, because most people are on a side, there is 3 words that I would use to sum up this situation. Actions have consequences. Ricky Starks on the CVV thing basically said he doesn't know why he's at home. I am the proclivity for positivity, but I know how work relationships work. Bullshit. You know what you did. You know why you got sent home. I don't know why. I don't work backstage at AEW. I am not an insider. I don't pretend to know more than I do. I have no idea why Ricky Starks got sent home. But I am 100% certain he knows why he got sent home. You know what I mean?
Right.
He knows. And whatever you did, actions have consequences. Whether it's not someone signing the extension or whatever you did, actions have consequences. And then the whole GCW thing. Hey, you can go play with GCW. You can go be on all their shows. Tony Khan's like, I have your contract. I am going to allow you to go work where you want to work. All right, cool. Then someone from GCW, I don't think he's in an executive position at GCW, but he's in GCW. And he was talking as a representative of GCW. And he said that basically Brett Lauderdale GCW doesn't have the $40 million to run at a $40 million deficit and was upset about AEW booking Hammerstone Ballroom. And that's all good. Tony Khan gets criticism all the time. You know, whatever. And he lets a lot of it roll off his back. It's not as gotten to as everybody thinks. But then this man, Effie, said he doesn't have a dad that pays him millions of dollars to stay away. And a lot of people at face value says that's not that serious. I think every person, nice, old, young, old, nice, everyone has their line. I feel like Tony Khan has been clear that his parents and his relationship with his family is that line. Someone crossed the line and they found out. And he pulled him. And he said, Ricky can work wherever he wants. Can't work with GCW. And of course, everybody's like, oh, the reaction's like, oh, it's not Ricky's fault. It's not GCW's fault. Effie ain't the person. Effie works for GCW. You know what? He brought up Brett Lauderdale's name and he talked about their running budget. He wasn't talking about, you know, like his personal feelings. He was talking about how it affects GCW. And he's like, Tony Khan's like, dude, like I said, not knowing Tony Khan, but I can only imagine he'd be like, I've been letting my wrestlers wrestle on your company and help you draw money for years. And you're going to bring up my dad? Mm-hmm. So let me tell you, Floyd, most easygoing person you will ever meet. Mm-hmm. My friends and my family is my line. Once you come after my friends and my family, I go scorched earth.
Oh, I'm right there with you on that too.
Yeah. So when people ask, they say, oh, what he did was petty. I was like, what he did was appropriate. Mm-hmm. Because you said something about my family. Will Smith knocking the shit out of Chris Rock and saying, keep my wife's name out your goddamn mouth. Keep Tony Khan's dad's name out your mouth. And guess what? You find out. Like, this is not something that anybody should be shocked about. And this is not, like, I would love to say this is speculation, but according to Fightful, they were told. Fightful reports, they were told that Effie's comments was the specific reason Ricky Starks was being pulled from GCW. Keep my dad's name out your mouth. Tony Khan didn't let it be, you know, like up for speculation. He didn't let you question. You don't have to guess. They told you.
He's like, I'm letting you know. I'm letting you know.
No, this is what the fuck you did. Don't do it. So
that's basically it.
I mean, that's it. So if you think his response is appropriate, it doesn't matter. He was the one that was wronged, and then he replied. You don't get to complain about the retaliation once you're the one that's in the wrong. Like, you don't get to complain about it. Mm-hmm. And, you know, GCW's Effie's profile is going to be wild because I literally forgot Effie was a wrestler. I don't know who he wrestles. I don't know his position in the GCW. I don't keep up with GCW. not my thing. I'm not gonna ever talk bad about GCW. Like in a recorded sense, you know, between me and my friends, I say my shit. But I don't care about GCW. Like, they are irrelevant to me. I don't watch their shows. But they'll probably sell more tickets because of this.
Oh, sure.
Probably raised Effie's profile. People are going to go buy shirts on Pro Wrestling Tees, support Effie or wherever Effie sells his merch through. And maybe it worked. Maybe they're going to have record attendances because Effie tried to take down Tony Khan. But they will be doing those record attendances without AEW wrestlers.
Well, and again, it's just a matter of like, you know, Tony has had the ability to let wrestlers work where they want to work and have independent dates. Like they've allowed Danhausen to do it. They've allowed John Moxley to do it. They've allowed a lot of guys to do it. And, you know.
Marina and Moxley were just at a GCW show Sunday.
Correct.
Just at a show.
Yeah. Well, Moxley just, I feel like, is just at that level of star for AEW where he can basically do whatever the fuck he wants. But at the same time, too, it's like, it's always that mindset of just like, you know, kindness is not weakness, and he has the right to pull his contracted wrestlers from shows at different companies if he so chooses, if it's in their contract, which it is, because you are signed to AEW, you wrestle at AEW shows. I will give you the freedom to work other places, but if you abuse that freedom, you won't wrestle on those shows. So again, I can't, it's more so just frustrating for me as a fan, because as a fan, I would like to see Ricky Starks wrestle. I would, because I've missed him. I've enjoyed his wrestling in AEW, and I wish I had the chance to see him some more, because I think he is very good and has a lot of potential to be even better than he is now. But we're just in this impasse, and it doesn't help anyone, any fans, I feel like, who want to see these guys. Yeah. And that's just more so of the stance I'm taking. I don't fucking care like what the shit is, because I just have no interest in caring of why Ricky's pissed, why he what he said that caused him to be at this point with AEW where he just isn't on TV and they keep him at home and they just pay him to stay home. I just can't care, because it just, whatever it is, it's keeping me from seeing him wrestle. And that's just not,
yes.
As a consumer, it just frustrates me. You know what I mean?
And that's my problem with this whole situation, because I feel like when discussing this situation, there's two different points. Mm-hmm. There is Tony Khan's relationship with Ricky Starks and Tony Khan's relationship with GCW, right? Tony Khan.
Two things that, and the thing is, the conversations of the sides there, two things that the fans talking about those sides have no fucking idea what they're talking about.
Yes. And I'm on the side is I want to see Ricky Starks wrestle. But everyone knows me that listens to the show. Dude, Ricky Starks and Tony Khan got beef. You know what I would fucking do? I would use it on TV.
There you go.
That's what I would do. But that's always going to be my point. But it never seems to be done. Mm-hmm. Dude, tonight on Dynamite in Chicago, not discussing what happened, Ricky Starks would have interrupted a match, stepped in a room, start cutting a promo on fucking Tony Khan, and Tony Khan cuts his mic off. Mm-hmm. And then I would go from there. I don't know who would be the guy that wrestles Ricky Starks or fights Ricky Starks or whatever, but I would go from there, because I'm using any buzz to make my product better. Mm-hmm. Because that's how I see the world. Everything is wrestling, right? Because I'm a wrestling fan, so I want everything to go back to being a product that is entertaining. I'm tired of talking about off-screen stuff. We really don't delve into that a lot. We talk about what's going on the TV, and that's what I would really like to be talking about, is Ricky Starks performing.
Yes.
That's what I want to be talking about. But he's not performing, and I'm just like, the idea of paying someone not to wrestle, especially when, like, early this year, there was all those injury all those injury periods where it was like
Yeah.
they had no one to use, and I'm saying, you don't think you could have used Ricky Starks right then?
Correct. No, again, dude, it's like it just that's the only stance that I can take because it's the only stance where I actually have a leg to stand on. You know, everyone else who's saying about like, oh, GCW has the right to do that. Oh, well, Tony Khan. Blah, blah, blah. It's like none of y'all know what you're talking about anyway. You have no privy to any of the business or on regarding any of this. So I can't listen to your arguments and actively take them at face value and actively listen to them and have any sort of belief of what you're saying. You're not insiders. You don't know shit. I can't listen to anything that you say. Now, me as a consumer, I can tell you having one less talented, interesting wrestler that is gaining a buzz on your television product doesn't help.
Yeah, it doesn't. And, you know, so, but I think
that's basically it.
I think we've covered it at this point now.
Yeah, we've covered it all. But like we basically covered it in the one way that people aren't, in a reasonable, honest to God, like informational matter that we have reason to give our point that no one's talking about. They're just talking about who's right and who's wrong. And again,
the
who the fuck cares?
The one side I can say is Brett Lauderdale and GCW. Because it's like Brett Lauderdale looks like, what the fuck I do? I didn't say anything. Like, what the fuck did I do? So I was like, that's the only person I kind of feel bad for in the GCW fans because it was like, you know what happened. But hopefully this can get resolved backstage. That's what we're hoping for, man. Outside of this. But the fact that Ricky Starks is not on AEW TV, you know, it's just... Like I said, not knowing the backstage stuff, it sucks. Like, I may find out one day what he did, and I might be like, yeah, I wouldn't have used him either. I don't know, you know? But like I said, to people that think that he did nothing, I'm just going to say this. Whether the thing he did or didn't do would bother you, it apparently bothered Tony Khan.
Yes, it did. So, and he has every right to do that if you sign your wrestlers to contracts where you have that freedom to be able to make those decisions.
In wrestling, unfortunately, the owner, the booker, he is the writer, the casting director, the director. He puts the lines out there. He does everything. So
some of y'all gotta watch Heels. You gotta watch Heels and just see to the level of that shit of like what people do in that show. So,
So when you piss off the guy that writes the story,
guess what? You're taking out of the story.
Yeah, you're taking out of the story. So like I said, I can't speak on what Ricky Starks did because I don't know. Can't speak on if Tony Khan's being petty because I don't know.
Don't worry. People on the internet who don't know anything will definitely speak on it, even though no one wants to hear from them.
Yes, but we are talking about it in a very boring way because we're trying to look at it from all sides.
Yes, and no one wants to hear that. So you know what? Let's just talk about Full Gear and let's just talk about wrestling.
Yes.
We're gonna quickly go through 0 Hour, just because there were 3 matches on 0 Hour. First thing, I will say the opening match, Deonna Purrazzo versus Anna Jay. I really don't have a ton to say about it. Anna Jay was able to get another victory. They're really making sure Anna Jay has consistent appearances and stuff like that and got a victory over Deonna Purrazzo, which is surprising because I would have thought with Deonna being in the faction that she's in or being in the group with Taya Valkyrie that they would have wanted to maybe give her a little bit of momentum with that, but they like Anna Jay, so they got Anna Jay to get the cradle to get a roll up to get the win over Deonna.
Let me tell you something about this. We're in the building. We're like, when do the matches start? So according to the online, the matches started at 7 Eastern or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we show up at 7. Yeah, the Anna Jay and Deonna Purrazzo match had already happened. We didn't watch it until the next day because we didn't hear music. We didn't hear anything. We didn't even know the match was going on.
Right.
Yeah, so no, I thought it was, fairly decent match. I'm a big Anna Jay person. I feel like this whole thing is leading to Tay coming back, Tay Conti.
Yes, and I think that would be very exciting because I mean we have not seen her for a minute, and I would love to get another chance to see her on TV.
TJ, man, that's a long time AEW tag team. So TJ versus Vendetta, I'd be down for that.
Yeah, they then talked. They had a little segment backstage with Billy Starks asked about the ROH 4-way qualifier for the Wrestle Dynasty International Women's Cup. She was interrupted by Red Velvet, who's the Women's World TV Champion. Layla Hirsch then walked up and said she could beat both of them. Then the Ring of Honor Women's Champion Athena comes up, says she could beat them. So these are the people on the Ring of Honor side of the International Women's Cup for Wrestle Dynasty, where 4 wrestlers from each company for Wrestle Dynasty will be bracketed off, and then it'll turn into a 4-way for the women of one woman of each company going at it at Wrestle Dynasty. So just a little tease at that.
And shout out to Red Velvet. Love her new hairdo. Like I thought that
she's killing it with that.
I love that. Which Athena's like, I dog walked you, Billy Starks. That made me laugh because she was the closest. Girl. She was the closest to beating Athena. Yes. So when she's like, I dog walked you, I was like,
bull fucking shit.
She's like, I've beat all of you repeatedly, because, she's the forever champ. No, I love Athena's attitude, and I don't really call going from ROH to AEW calling up, but, dude, it's time for the call up.
That's what I've been saying, dude. And again, I hope she wins on the Ring of Honor side of the bracket, so that way she can be the woman in Wrestle Dynasty, because I need her in that match.
Everybody's like, who's next for Mercedes? Who's next for Mercedes? I'm like,
right the fuck there.
Literally the longest reigning champion in all of professional wrestling, Athena.
Correct.
That's how it would be announced to the ring if I was Athena. The longest reigning champion in professional wrestling. She is the champion of champions. And so, no, I'm really actually looking forward to that 4-way. I do not watch ROH as much as I don't watch ROH very often because I don't want to burn out on wrestling. And if I tried to keep up with 6 or 4 or 5 different companies, I would burn out. So I reserve ROH to when they say there's going to be a big match, and then I make sure I watch it. So whenever they announce this 4-way happening, I will be watching.
There you go. Speaking of 4-way, we had a 4-way between Dante Martin, the Beast Mortos, Commander, and Buddy Matthews. Buddy Matthews, first of all, over as fuck in this match. Crowd went crazy.
They were just, it's the New Jersey's House of Black territory. I don't know. I don't know when that happened. But New Jersey is House of Black country.
Can I tell you how great it was to actually have a wild crowd? I'm sure you can speak on it since you were there, but just to have a hot crowd for this pay-per-view, because they were hot for pretty much almost the entire night, I would say.
Dude, but like 3 people got the overwhelming majority pop, and we'll talk about them shortly.
We will talk about them, yes. But this match was a lot of fun. This was the exact kind of match I put on 0 Hour to get people to buy the pay-per-view. And it does its job, I feel like. Mortos consistently has become one of my favorite guys on the lower card that I feel like can constantly you give him a little bit of time and he could have just a really great run. I feel like if you have Beast Mortos with a mouthpiece of a guy who can be the beast tame, the guy who basically is I have my beast, don't let me unleash him on you. He could be a champion and be just this mountain someone has to knock off, and I think it would be so entertaining. And Buddy Matthews, I cannot stop talking about how unbelievable this dude is, and he's such a linchpin in the House of Black, who I hope now consistently get used, especially with Julia Hart coming back. House of Black is so over and just such a great group, and I want consistent representation of on AEW, not just on Collision, but on Dynamite as well. So I want Kings of the Black Throne, Buddy Matthews, Julia Hart, all of them. I want 2025 to be the year that House of Black just goes apeshit. I let that be something for me, please.
Dude, so the only thing, this match was great. Lots of amazing spots. If you're watching, you're thinking about buying the pay-per-view, you're probably going to go ahead and press that purchase. But I would have liked it announced, like this is hindsight being 2020. because we know who's in the Continental Classic. I would have not liked to announce this match announced as a Continental Classic qualifier, and I would have liked Beast Mortos to win.
I agree. I would agree.
If I was going to, like I said, hindsight being 2020.
Yes, correct.
So
we didn't know what the group was going to be
because after Buddy Matthews won this match, I just assumed he was going to be in the Continental Classic.
Sure.
And then they announced the group and he wasn't. And I'm like, why? Because the dude is such a good worker. He can put on some very entertaining matches. That would have been great. I have no problem with the Beast Mortos being in it, but I would have had him win this match if I was going to then put him in the Continental Classic.
Yeah. So it makes sense though. It makes sense, but huge win for Buddy Matthews though. And again, you were right. It's House of Black Country because that dude was over as fuck. But
dude, that is the loudest I've ever heard someone be for Buddy Matthews.
Yeah, and hey, I think he deserves it too because the dude wrestles his ass off and he's a beast.
Yes.
Then the match that got all of the internet and all of this building talking, it was Big Boom AJ with Big Justice and the Rizzler facing off against QT Marshall, the Costco guys, the internet sensations. This was the match that we said it was not meant for us. It was not booked for us, but we hope that it does its job.
And oh my God, did it. I am sitting next to Jackie. We both found out who the Costco guys were over the last couple weeks. I watched a video of theirs. Phil, another guy that was with us, I watched a video of theirs about 4 hours before the show, and that was the first time I'd ever seen the video because I personally do not have TikTok. It's not my thing. Have no problem with anybody is on it. I don't think I'm like a higher quote intelligence because I don't use TikTok. It's just not my thing. So I saw the video and I was like, that is what they're popular for. I just kind of threw my hands up. So I'm sitting there with Jackie and, I think the Rizzler came. Did the Rizzler come out first?
It was Paul White who came out. I mean,
he came out with the Rizzler.
Yeah, and he came out with the Rizzler as the special guest timekeeper.
Dude, everybody made sure they were. Everybody made sure they were in the seat in their room. There was like this mass crowd when they knew this match was coming up next, getting back to their seats and stuff, rushing to see this. And then he hits, and I'm looking down because I don't care in general, and I was like, oh my God, this kid is over. What? And then all I can think is I tipped my hat before a match came, before Big AJ and before AJ and Justice came out. I tipped my hat and said it worked. Because just from the pop of the Rizzler, you knew this match was about to be over.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, people were on their feet. They were yelling. They were clapping. Dude, it worked. Shout out to, apparently this was QT idea. Shout out to Mr. QT Marshall.
We will always sing the praises of QT Marshall on this podcast because God damn it, if this man did not go out there against a guy who had not wrestled in decades, who also seemingly reportedly had a broken foot before the match even started because he broke his foot leading up to the match. I think it was either the day of or the day before that he broke his foot. And you couldn't fucking tell. Like, you could not tell. They
put on a classic, bad guy, good guy, a wrestling match. And everybody was into every move they had there.
The boom of every strike. I just kind of because they do the whole like arm pose. I kind of wanted him to use European uppercuts. Was the only thing that I was kind of wishing for. Didn't get it, but it's all cool. It was just my idea. But every strike he threw, boom chants over the crowd. Oh, we want the Rizzler. It was one of the funniest things I heard was just seeing the way that the crowd was going nuts for them. And dude, QT did the damn thing. AJ, like when he came in there and speared, a Big Justice getting in the ring and spearing QT. Holy shit, QT sold his fucking ass off.
Yeah. That was like Roman going ooh and doing the spear.
You would have thought Roman Reigns literally came and just speared that man in half.
Yes.
Instead, it was a child. Powerbomb for the win. It absolutely did its job. I will never go back and watch this ever again. That being said, shout out to those guys. I mean, you saw the level of respect leading up to it with how they were selling it and like just going all over the place talking about this match and getting people talking about it. But then like just getting into the ring and then just like, dude, I mean, like it did what it was trying to do, and it did it well, and the crowd went ballistic for it. So much so that he's probably going to make another appearance. I think Tony at least signed him to some sort of like some contract to having him for a couple more matches or something, because after a reaction like that from the crowd, TK is going to want to try to cash in on those guys while they still have the social media relevance that they have right now. But hey, man, it was a lot of fun. It's not my thing, but it was a lot of fun.
I was going to say, it wasn't for me, but it drew a lot of people. And like I said, it worked, and that's all that matters. I let's say, because I will tell anyone, and we both say this, there's the 80-20 rule. This fell square in the 20% area of stuff I did not care about. And but the crowd got me into it, and I started watching it, and I was like, boom, 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 and and I'm happy he got his moment. This dude's obviously from New Jersey, or from that area, and he got to, perform on national TV in front of 10,000 people.
You saw his family in the front row, all the cameras they had for their YouTube video or their videos that they were going to upload and everything like that. I mean, dude, they were so gassed about this whole thing.
So I was very happy for Big Boom. What's his Boom? Big Boom AJ?
Big Boom AJ.
Okay, because I was like, I don't know. You don't understand. You don't understand. When they were talking about the Costco guys, I felt so fucking old because I had no idea who these people were.
Yes, and once again, I'm Sam's Club all the way. I don't give a fuck.
And you know what's so funny? Because I think me, Big Boom AJ, and QT are pretty much the same age. So, I think we're all the same age. So, that's funny.
For sure. Now we move into the main card of the show, which opened up with the AEW World Tag Team Championship 4-way between the Kings of the Black Throne, Malachi Black and Brody King, the Acclaimed, the Outrunners, and Private Party. First of all, how wonderful that we have a Tag Team Championship 4-way. All of them are actual named tag teams. This is a pet peeve me and Floyd have. They're all named tag teams. It's not like another just having people just teaming together and they don't even have a tag team name. So that's one thing I just had to mention. Everyone's got a tag team name. Everyone's an established tag team. Thank Christ.
Yes, that is awesome. That was, it did suck that one of the named tag teams wasn't FTR, but,
Correct.
You can't have everything the way you want it. But yes, 4 tag teams in it. Private Party comes out with the girls. That was cool. And so that morning, I order the Flex on Them shirt. They come out to Shots, and I found out after the show, they're not going to use the Flex on Them theme. They're going to use the Shots theme.
Yes.
Less than 8 hours after I bought my Flex on Them shirt, I feel like it's out of date.
Seemingly just... I don't know, man. I can't figure out where they want to where they want to go with that theme, because obviously they want the crowd engagement with the Shots thing. They want it, and they want it really, really bad. But that I thought the Flex on Them theme was good though. I don't know. Maybe that was just me.
This is what I'm going to present, and if anybody from AEW happens to be listening to this, let's make a Private Party a dual themed team.
Oh.
They come out to Shots, and after they win, they leave the Flex on them.
I see. Okay.
Because, you won. Now you flex on them.
Yeah, now you flex.
It
makes sense.
So they have the both teams, so use them both. Why not?
Why the hell not? Match itself, though, hectic all over the place. Outrunners continue to be one of the most over things in AEW. Holy shit, every time these guys do anything, the crowd goes insane. I still love the fact that their entrance is in 4:3 aspect ratio. Just a nice little touch. And another big story in this match was, Max Caster has become public enemy number one, and he constantly is out there being a prick. Anthony Bowens tried to scissor with the Outrunners, and Caster immediately started going after him, which was the only thing that I actually agreed with Max, because I'm like, Bowens, we can scissor later, like fucking win the match, you know? That was the one thing I was like, I don't know why Bowens is getting so bent out of shape about this. Win the match, and then you can scissor whoever the hell you want. But regardless, the crowd was absolutely against Max from Jump Street. Like, they were just tired of dude, and it was amazing how it worked into the severing of the Acclaimed and Anthony Bowens. And again, he's focusing in Max, with Bowens and Caster wanted to be like, I'm the best wrestler alive, and he's become this arrogant prick, and no one is even remotely supporting him, at all.
Yes, because he doesn't say everyone loves the Acclaimed.
Nope.
He says everyone loves the best wrestler alive.
Yes, correct.
Because he thinks
through the microphone as well, and made Bowens go and chase after it, which was a great touch.
He thinks he's the Shawn Michaels of the group. I think he might find
that was apparent. That was apparent with his gear too.
Yeah. I think we're gonna find out the hard way that he is definitely the Marty Jannetty.
1,000%. I thought this match was a fun opening. It made sense for this to be the opening match. That being said, I'm not a huge fan of the 4-way tag team matches where like only two people can be in the ring at the same time, and you can tag in whoever you want. Like, people can tag in however they want, because it leads to a point where I don't know who's legal, and towards the end of the match, I didn't know who the fuck was legal anymore.
Yeah,
and then I got to deal with Rick Knox's blind ass too. I know I'm not going to know who's going to be legal.
He's the perfect person to ref these type of matches, because he obviously just doesn't care about the rules.
Correct. But again, as someone who cares about the rules, I give a shit. So
no,
it was a bit out of all over the place. But eventually, I did like the part where Caster goes for the mic drop, but Turbo Floyd gets in the way of it and stops it, and that allows the Gin and Juice to get hit on Caster, and he takes the pin, and Private Party does retain their first title defense, their first title retain. So it was a fun opening. But I've definitely seen multi-tag matches that are better. And also I just wanted the FTR to come out and fuck over the Outrunners so we could just kickstart that feud. I want that so goddamn bad. You have no idea.
And I think we're getting it. But like I said, it's funny. January 1st, Asheville, North Carolina. Fight for the Fallen. I just don't think they're going to do it before then. I just don't. I have no insider information. It's just FTR going into their first match actually in the city that they live, as on national TV as the bad guys doesn't seem like the play to me.
Oh, sure.
You turn them the next week, but it doesn't. Going into that match, it doesn't seem like the play. Maybe,
right,
and maybe I'm overthinking it, but it just seems like you don't want FTR in their city and where you're expecting them to get booed, because they're not going to get booed. They're just not. So you wait until January 8th or whatever in another city, and then, have them do the thing. But I want them to do the thing just as bad as you want them to do the thing, because like I said, oh God, I miss my heel guys. I miss them so much.
So do I, man. So do I. There was a quick little backstage segment with Orange Cassidy where he talked about how, we're sending a message back to the Death Riders about how AEW doesn't need them, and AEW means everything to the guys like us, like Private Party, like Daniel Garcia and all this type of stuff. And when he goes like, I show that AEW doesn't need you, to me, I don't know, as me, like the stingy guy that I am, I'm like, what was the paradigm shift? As a guy who's not even a huge Moxley guy, what was the paradigm shift all those years, like 5 years ago? What was the paradigm shift? I don't know, man.
Yeah.
That was one of the lines that fell flat for me. And again, it's just, we'll talk more about the match itself when we get to the main event, but I was already just kind of like, okay, come on. Like, make me care, motherfucker. Make me care.
Yeah, they won't make you care.
No, they won't. Moving forward, MJF versus Roderick Strong. Obviously, we talked about this match leading up to it. How we're just waiting for that moment where we get MJF and Adam Cole, and of course, we were like, we know this match is going to be killer. It just doesn't have the juice that Adam Cole and MJF would have, and we were right because this match did kill. Roddy was flying all over the goddamn place, and his chops and his strikes were echoing throughout the Prudential Center. Like, he was ripping into MJF, his chest just completely torn apart. And I liked the way of MJF just immediately going after his hands because he was like, I'm not taking any more fucking chops. It's like, I'm sick of you chopping me, so I'm going to fuck up your hand. MJF just healing up to a massive edge, and then just really, really good stuff, constantly moving back and forth, and then eventually he hits the end of Heartache, but then MJF gets his foot on the ropes, and then they are able to get into that Salt of the Earth armbar, which ties into how he was working on his hand. Roderick had to tap out. He then sandwiches Roderick's forearm between a chair after the match was over, and Adam Cole came in way too late and tried to chase MJF away, but him and Taven and Mike Bennett get there, and Kyle O'Reilly get out there. MJF runs away, and Kyle O'Reilly is furious, shoves Adam Cole, basically being like, because he told him, he's like, he's always 2 steps ahead of you. Why would you get involved with this fuck? Like, you're pulling us into this. Like, don't pull Roderick into this. He's like,
I got to tell you,
it was honestly, I like that part.
I got to tell you, Kyle O'Reilly sound like a little bitch to me.
A little bit.
Are you scared of MJF? Like, because that's what you like. This dude's too smart. He's too smart. He's too good. He's too evil. You can't keep up with him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm like, I don't like it. I don't like it. I think it's like, I'm not a big Kyle O'Reilly fan as it is, yes. But I feel like he's been written like a little bit of a bitch in his case. Like, oh, MJF's gonna get us. You better run away from MJF. Leave him alone. No, it's just weird to me.
Yeah, I understand that, but regardless, the match itself, I think, was just really, really damn good. And Roderick just like moving all over the goddamn place, and just his striking this match was super damn good. Roderick
Strong is incapable of having a bad match.
Correct.
I thought this match was good, not great, but the big thing was, it was like you could tell when Adam Cole and MJF touch, when it finally happens. Where I hope it's in front of, one of our hot crowds, because like if it was in New Jersey, they would have been stupid for every move.
Right.
Yeah. And MJF's mom was there, and her baby is back, and it was funny.
And moving forward then from that match, we had the TBS Championship match between Chris Statlander and Mercedes Moné. Right off the jump, I think this is something you can say, and it's not even up for debate. I feel like this is pretty much cut and dry. This is Mercedes Moné's best match in AEW, bar none. This was her best match in AEW. This finally feels like, okay, here's what we signed up for. Here's what we brought in. This is what we were waiting for.
AEW, probably women's singles match of the year.
I would agree with that, honestly.
And I feel
Statlander
feels like it clears. I just feel like it clears like number 2 by quite a bit, which I would probably have as Mercedes versus Willow from Double or Nothing, which I thought was a really well done match. But this match was on another level. This match reminded.
I may be a little bit like I might have to put it in its own category because I still really love the Chris Willow street fight match that they had it All Out. But that was just great for a completely different reason, I feel like. So, but in terms of just like pound for pound wrestling, like holy shit did these girls go at it and do amazing.
And let me tell you, I think when you're talking about women's wrestling and it being on an elite level, AEW should really focus on these 3 because they all worked well together. Mercedes with Willow with Chris, all 3 of those, any combination of those 3 put on banger matches. So if you're going to do something with the TBS title, or if you're going to move Mercedes into the world title, it should be those 3 feuding over it. I would even love to see a triple threat match between them. And I am not the biggest proponent of triple threat matches, but they just seem to have, these three seem to have really great chemistry with each other. And when they work with other people, it doesn't seem to work out as well.
Yeah, I mean, they're all so talented. And yeah, just keeping those three linked, I think is a good chance of just consistently getting good matches in the women's division. But I mean, just as someone who, once again, Chris kind of just got thrust into this spot against Mercedes, and they turned her babyface just out of nowhere to put her in this position, which I wasn't a huge fan of, because I was like, if you're going to turn someone face, I need a moment. I need a face turn moment.
We all said that. It's like, why? Like, and at the beginning of this match, it was like we're watching it and they're doing their stuff, and generally no one cares. And about halfway through, I forgot what the move was, but they hit a move, and it just completely grabbed and changed the audience reactions for the rest of the match.
Yeah, I feel like there was a point where I think it was when she was it might have been when she was against the steel steps and then she ran her knees in.
Yes.
That was it. Yeah, I think that was it.
And then it was like it wouldn't say woke the crowd up. It grabbed the crowd, and the crowd was like,
I think Mercedes
I should be paying attention.
Came out with this intensity, and then just this fire of Statlander fighting back and just constantly like laying into Statlander. I mean, laying into Chris at some point. Mercedes. And man, it's just this is where we were just like, Mercedes healing it up, like, and she's getting frustrated, and everyone's loving that, and she's just screaming. Reaction to her doing the Three Amigos was amazing. Just so good, dude. So good. But eventually Mercedes gets out of the Saturday Night Fever. She bites Chris's knee, which then gets her to get a roll-up, and that's how she gets the victory after getting out of there. Because her knee was just getting worked on for a good majority of the match. And yeah, dude, this was so much what I was just waiting for like, because everyone knew how good Mercedes Moné is, and she is good. And there's a reason why, the women's evolution was started with her and three other girls too. Like, she was one of those four. And dude, I mean, this was the first look of her that we got in AEW, and like it's just right there. Now so many more eyes are on that title reign, I feel like, and it's just going to be more interesting to see where it goes from this point. Like, yes, please, more of this.
Yeah, it's like there's this difference when you're wrestling someone that's an athlete like Chris. Even, Mercedes' finisher, the Gordy into the DDT. It's all on. That move is all on the person taking it, right? They have to get around and get into the position where it turns into a DDT. Look at that move when Chris took it. It looked so pretty. It looked the way Mercedes saw it in her brain when she came up with the move. And it was just so perfectly done. And it was just like, that's it. That's the move. And everything looked more crisp in this match. Everything was so fluid. I just really enjoyed this match. Like I just said, AEW Women's Match of the Year, right there. And, it's right there with the Chris Statlander and Willow street fight. So I'm all about it. This was great.
There you go. We then move to the singles match between Switchblade Jay White and Hangman Adam Page. It's tough for me to get emotionally invested into this match, but in terms of just wrestling ability, I mean, like, I love just the storytelling of just them. Both guys were just from Jump Street going after each other's legs. Hangman got Jay superplexed out of the ring, and that's when Jay was just grabbed his leg, and he was already caught with it. Hangman jumped on it instantaneously, going after that and the ankle, but then eventually Jay White goes after his leg, and there's just points where just switching in the work into the ankle lock, the working against each other's legs. Everyone's just trying to really make sure people can't walk, basically, in this match. The finish, too, I loved how great the finish came along with this match of just Jay was feeding for that Blade Runner constantly trying to see it. So when he eventually did hit it, holy shit, the crowd came unglued. Like, I just love the way that you could see him constantly going for it, and he's setting the seeds for it. This match was seeds being planted and them sprouting into huge moments and huge reactions. That's what I felt this match was, and the way that it was set up and the way that it was designed in terms of how these guys wrestled each other. Technically speaking, I thought it was really, really good. It was just tough for me because, I mean, you got two guys right here that are kind of both tweeners, if we're being honest. So it was like, who do people get into? Just kind of whoever they're more favored towards. Are you more a Hangman guy or are you more a Jay White guy? That's kind of just how you chose who you were rooting for in this match for the most part. But technically wise, I just love the in-match storytelling they did with this match, with just both guys dealing with leg injuries and how they overcame them, and then how they were feeding for certain moves and trying to get them. And like, I just thought it was really well done in that sense. But you know, that's just from a technical level. From a story level, you know.
Now, the story level I loved, because this is the one match that I got wrong on my predictions. And I love it because we're so used to like balanced booking, right? Okay, Jay White won at the last pay-per-view, so of course Hangman's winning at this pay-per-view. Jay White does this, so of course this is happening. No, Jay White has Hangman's number. Whenever Hangman thinks, oh, I got a step, Jay White also always has another move ahead of it. And that is what I love most about this story. Because this kind of went against what we understand in America as professional wrestling. How often do people lose 2 pay-per-views in a row to someone?
Not often. Not often.
So, you know, so it's like, oh, they're booking this for the next pay-per-view. Of course Hangman's going to win. There's no question Hangman's going to win. Blade Runner. 1, 2, 3. Over. Hangman loses again. Hangman's like, dude, I thought I had him. Dejected. Because he just knew, like, every time buckshot lariat, he tried to switch it, Hangman had to reverse for it this way. And he's like, man, I'm not going to have to hit the buckshot lariat, so I'm going to have to keep doing the dead eye. He does the dead eye. That's not enough to keep Jay White down. The only way he's going to keep Jay White down is with that buckshot lariat. But the one thing Jay White won't let him do is get him in the buckshot lariat. Oh my God, this is just wrestling and psychology at its best. I fucking love this match just because it had me on the edge of my seat, because I knew Hangman was going to win. And then he kept hitting moves and he kept not winning. So every false finish he hit worked with me. Then when he hit the Blade Runner, I was like, oh, he's kicking out. And guess what I forgot? Only one person, and I believe it was Jon Moxley, has ever kicked out of the Blade Runner. Once you get the Blade Runner, it's 1, 2, 3. That's why I love this match, because I just thought that it was a match where I knew I was smart and I knew who was going to win, and it didn't happen that way.
Yeah, and it's always fun when you're proven wrong. It's always fun where they catch you off and you're like, I did not see that coming.
I did not.
And again, we love seeing Hangman absolutely beside himself. And after the match, he went after Jay White again. CD tried to calm him down, and he got knocked down. So now he's going to be suspended for quite some time.
Dude, Hangman is crazy. Like, it's that simple.
That's one thing.
Yes, and that's like very entertaining when he's being crazy Hangman. And like I said, Jay White, I love my guy, because it's just like, hey, he's the thinking man's wrestler. That's whether he is heel or whether he is face. He is one step ahead of his opponent usually. And so I'm all about that.
For sure. We then move off to the aerial assassin Will Ospreay versus the protostar Kyle Fletcher. Folks, he's Mr. Pay-Per-View. I don't know what else to tell you. Will Ospreay is Mr. Pay-Per-View.
Yes.
And Kyle Fletcher came out, and I don't know if you felt it kind of like this from your perspective, but from my perspective, like, I felt very much like I kind of got callbacks in my head to Creed 3 with this match. I don't know why. I know it's it's sort of similar, but kind of not, but it's sort of similar. but just the level of just like Ospreay's just getting after like his friend who he always seemed as a partner, as a teammate, as a confidant. But I mean, Ospreay was always the better of the two. Fletcher was just leveling Ospreay in this match.
Let me tell you, Creed 3, I would have never said that I would have never connected the two, but it's kind of perfect because it's like two friends, and it's just like the anger that one friend has over the other, and he was so angry at him, like the dude's like, no, let's, basically run it. I'm not trying to be nice to you anymore. You seem to want this. You think you're the best wrestler in the world. I am the best wrestler in the world. So that being, I can definitely see the parallels there. I wouldn't have thought of it, but it was kind of a great pull from you. But I mean, I would love to say, let me tell you, I don't throw stars. I haven't mentioned stars in any match.
No.
But this is a 6-star match. Right? This is full on 6. It might be higher. This was like a perfect plus wrestling match. And I would love to say this is unquestionable the best match of the year. Dude, I've seen in person and 3 other Will Ospreay matches that I would put right there with this match. That is what level Will Ospreay is on. He is Russell Westbrook going a triple-double every season. He is Peyton Manning winning Patrick Mahomes winning the touchdown race in the NFL by like 10 touchdowns. This dude is Lamar Jackson. He is so far ahead, the best in-ring performer in the world right now. There really shouldn't even be a conversation other than who's to. And if you tell me that someone as an in-ring performer, I'm not talking about promos, anything, but if you tell me someone as an in-ring performer is better than Will Ospreay, while I will respect your opinion, I will think your opinion is wrong.
I mean, just
like, I respect your opinion, but to me it's wrong. This dude is the best in-ring performer in the world.
And I can't even really say much else on the Ospreay side of things. Everything that I've said about how unreal Ospreay is at this is just beating a dead horse, pretty much. So all I'll say is, though, Kyle Fletcher came out and he had a crown on his head, and like the protostar became a star on this match. This dude looked like a fucking anime villain. This dude came out and was just like, oh, you still think I'm less than you. You still think I'm your little buddy who, was always okay being your lackey, being your second to be, oh, am I going to be the next Will Ospreay? No. You're going to have to worry about being the next me, because I'm going to come out and I'm going to take your head off. The moments of him just like not even selling as the less and less filled strikes from Ospreay as he's just wobbled, and Fletcher has just got this shit-eating grin on his face. Like, dude, I mean, it was just absolutely incredible. These guys laid into each other, and I mean, dude, it was such a great star-making moment for Kyle Fletcher. I feel like this was the moment where you got that chance of being able to see him at his best. And I think a lot of people now, this just makes Kyle Fletcher a threat, because again, he beat Will Ospreay. Who the fuck else is on a level of Will Ospreay? Not many people. So everybody else that he goes after is instantly on notice, because this guy just took down Will Ospreay. Who the fuck is saying that he can't take you down if you're not even close to Ospreay's level? And Ospreay now has this incredible hero's journey he can go on to finally to get back at Kyle Fletcher. And like, dude, it's just, and this is a bouncing off point, because these guys are going to wrestle again. And there's a good chance they might top this too, which is just insane to think. So, I mean, dude, it was match of the night. It was no questions about it whatsoever. And he is Mr. Pay-Per-View. Trademarked, copyrighted. Will Ospreay is Mr. Pay-Per-View.
Okay. And I want to give my flowers to Mr. Kyle Fletcher, who, like, that tombstone from the apron on the steps.
Onto the fucking steel steps.
Perfectly executed. I just like, dude, it looked dangerous and lethal, and it just was like, okay, he's not coming. You knew Will Ospreay wasn't coming back from that, and that was amazing. And, Kyle Fletcher, future of wrestling. Losses now should be few and far between for him. Will Ospreay shows you what a professional wrestler should be. In the same year, he's Will Ospreay, and is putting on these banger matches, became the international champion, all that kind of stuff. I believe he was the international champion twice. I don't know. But became the international champion, did all this stuff. He also helped solidify Swerve's title reign with a loss, and help make Kyle Fletcher with a loss. Think about that, right? You're like,
that's why you say he's triple-double, because the assists count, too, towards that triple-double.
Yes, he's putting people over while still looking like Will Ospreay. So whenever I hear, and like I say, a lot of it's rumors, I don't know, how much of it's true. But whenever I hear those rumors on site that people don't want to put people over, there's a way to put people over and still look strong. Kyle Fletcher came out of this match, 2 steps a level, but Will Ospreay came out looking like a god, because what did it take to take Will Ospreay out finally? A tombstone from the apron on the steps. That is how you lose. That is how you put someone over. As far as my fans' point of view, I'm not a worker, not speaking as one, but as a fan, from a fan's point of view, this is how you do it. We came out of this match. Will Ospreay lost nothing. Kyle Fletcher gained everything. And now you have 2 stars. Wrestling.
Boom. There you go. We then move on, finally, to the Champagne Championship celebration for the AEW Women's World Champion, Mariah May.
Perfect place for this.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Because I needed a cigarette after that other match, after Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay. I don't smoke, but the proverbial mental cigarette. I needed a break, and this was the
great palate cleanser, like, in between. Absolutely amazing work. With Mina Shirakawa, they bring out Mariah. They say, we finally did it. I get the celebration I always deserve. It's been a tough 4 months, but it was all worth it to step on, beat, and kill this entire division, because there's not a single woman alive who can touch me. They drink their champagne. They start dancing. It's amazing. And then Mariah has the bottle of wine, and she looks to swing it at Mina. She ducks out of the way, and she stares at Mariah, kicks the bottle of champagne, and it shatters. And then she's just got this absolute look of just, I'm going to kill you. Because she then spears Mariah off of the stage. They crash through the table, and it looked like Mina, she lost a tooth or something, because her mouth was bleeding. And then she just starts just rubbing the blood from her mouth all over Mariah's face. Here we go. Now, Mariah has stuff to work with. Because for the longest time, as someone who has loved Mariah May, there's not even been anyone remotely close since she's won the Women's World Championship to even remotely contend. She's just kind of been doing her thing. She's been hateable. She's been posing. She's been beautiful as always. But there's been no real worry towards her. And we were waiting for Toni Storm. This is where I thought Toni Storm was going to come back. She did not. But instead, Mina catches Mariah trying to fuck her over, and now she wants to get at Mariah and take that title away from her after she broke their friendship. So, and I literally said too, when they showed the picture of the celebration, I'm like, this has Festival of Friendship coded shit all over it. Didn't get to that level of absolute heartbreak, but it tried to, and Mina saw it coming, and she was prepared for it, and now Mina Shirakawa versus Mariah May has become my most anticipated match moving forward. I'm hoping we're getting it at World's End before the end of the year. And yeah, like I said, even though I love Mariah May and her title reign, she really hasn't had much to do since Toni Storm's been gone. So now she has something to do. This is something that people can really sink their teeth into and be like, okay, I can get behind this. And I think it could be a really big moment for Mina as well. So I'm glad that we finally got this. I wish I was in attendance for it as well.
This was completely over in attendance. Mina did really well. Amazingly hot feud. Something that the women's world title was sorely missing. So I am excited for this. I'm excited to see how it's going to go. And I will be in the building. Hopefully. I have to get the day off approved. But the goal is to be in the buildings December 11th in Kansas City.
There you go. There you go. We then move on to the TNT Championship match between the Scapegoat, Jack Perry, and Daniel Garcia. I did not see that coming. I'll tell you that straight up. Did not see that coming.
I figured,
go ahead.
I threw out a lot of insane things, and I figured if the match went to a straight ending, Daniel Garcia was going to win. But I figured, there would be something there, and it wasn't. I will say this about the match. It was kind of a nothing match.
No. A Jack Perry match was a nothing match?
No, I actually think Jack Perry is mostly a good performer. But this match was like, I was trying to get into it, and it was just like I was waiting on it to hit that next level, and then the match ended. So it never hit that second gear to me. Maybe they do a rematch for the title, maybe they do something, but and that's probably not going to happen because Daniel Garcia is in the he's in the Continental Classic. But yeah, I am very happy for Daniel Garcia. I am glad Red Death is the champion, but I thought they were going to have much more of, and I know people don't like to use this word, but this has become the colloquialism for good matches. I thought this was going to be a banger, and I don't feel like we got a banger.
No. Getting into this, I thought there was a couple decent moments in the match, just of Garcia throwing Perry around. I liked how Matt Menard was being used at ringside. I thought that was a nice little touch. I think the point when Daniel Garcia got the trash dumped on him, I'm like, Jack, why'd you dump yourself on him? And, I thought there were points where, Garcia was really able to just kind of show the level of work he could do. But the moment where I was just so annoyed was the whole fucking handing the belt to Garcia, trying to be like, hit me, as he is trying to get disqualified. I honestly thought that was going to be the finish, was that he would get under his skin, he would get himself disqualified, but he would still beat the shit out of Jack Perry, but Jack would keep the belt. I honestly thought that was going to be the finish, and I was going to hate it because, again, stupid babyface syndrome, and I would have just absolutely despised it. Because, again, that was what the promo from the previous show from Dynamite was setting up, was how you don't want to go to that place, you can't go to that place, and fucking, again, the pain fetish that Jack Perry has, constantly being like, this whole, like, on his knees, like, hit me shit. Like, again, I thought that was genuinely the way the match was setting up to go. Didn't get to that point, and then he got the low blow. You thought that would be the end, but he prevails, and eventually he starts striking chops in, hits the pile driver, gets the Dragon Tamer, and Perry taps out. He is the new TNT Championship. I am so happy for Daniel Garcia. Huge moment for him, a singles championship for him. And I think, again, as one of the guys they've really set up to be the future of AEW and the blood of AEW, just like this whole like heart blood of it. Like, I think Garcia is in a position where he could do a lot of really good things. And this is all I will say, too. Grab the tombstone, chisel it, and stamp it into the ground. This is the worst championship reign I have seen in my time as a professional wrestling fan. Let it burn in hell. The only reign I could confidently say is even remotely close to being as bad. I'm talking main championship, because this is their secondary belt. Don't get it twisted. I know the TNT championship has been on this roller coaster of mattering, then not mattering, then mattering, then not mattering, then really mattering, and then not mattering. But this is the worst championship reign in professional wrestling that I have seen since Jinder Mahal was WWE champion. But the one thing you can say is at least that reign got a reaction out of people. It was either absolute hatred, holy shit, this company is burning to the ground, I can't believe they made a former jobber the WWE champion. And then the other side of it was just, haha, you can't hinder Jinder, this is trash, but it's funny. So it had that reaction. But at least it was a reaction, because nobody cared about Jack Perry as TNT champion. You had no emotion in your soul when asked about it, that you couldn't find a chance to even care. So even when he loses the championship, even though we're so happy for Daniel, the match felt unbelievably empty. Let that reign burn in the fiery pits of hell. A wasted opportunity on a guy who has done nothing but waste opportunities. Fuck off forever.
You good?
Yes, I'm good.
Okay.
Hey, I got it out now because that's my celebration. But again, I can't even celebrate properly because the match didn't even give me the chance to be happy that he lost. I'm happy for Daniel, but I mean, like,
yeah,
nobody even cared during the match about like him being champion. It was horseshit.
I don't think his title reign was that bad. That's me personally. I mean, I don't.
Can you give me a reason as to why it wasn't that bad?
I thought it was
at least so I can get an idea.
I just thought it was fine. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and wave the Jack Perry flag for his TNT title run. I just thought it was fine. I mean, I didn't like hate
that
it.
Meant you didn't care. If you said it was just fine, that means you just didn't have any emotion towards it. Which again is why I feel like it was worse, because it didn't leave any impact.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately,
it will be a footnote in this company.
He was in a group that didn't get over. And I think that was more of how his title reign ended, had feeling flat, had to me more to do with that than anything. Like if they did it during the height of the Elite and then all three were coming down the ring and Daniel Garcia and Daddy Magic had to fight him off, and Daniel Garcia got him in, it got him in that Scorpion Deathlock, and he leans all the way back and he gets to tap out. I think there's much more emotion from the crowd, but it was just kind of a regular match and he lost. So, I mean, of course, it's a title change. People always are going to, exclaim for title changes. But if you watch the audience, the 5-10 minutes up to that match, there was literally it felt like nothing was going on. And on a night where the crowd was already hot for most of everything, it really stuck out that they weren't hot for that match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, I mean, hey, I'm excited for Daniel Garcia. I think he's going to have a hell of a reign. I think he's going to do well in the Continental Classic, but, yeah, like I said, a lot happened during Jack's reign that I think played into there not being a lot of emotion for the loss.
I'm going to go eat Taco Bell, and, I'm just going to go get some Taco Bell, and I'm going to enjoy Daniel Garcia as the TNT champion and enjoy the fact that I can care about this belt again, because I couldn't care for a good amount of time. In fact, I'm pretty sure I couldn't care about that championship for a good, let me do the math, 146 days.
Yeah.
Wasted time.
When he said, Dan Garcia cut a promo after the show, and he said, this is Cody's belt, and that was the first name he said, I was like, he won me over right there.
There you go.
I'm pro Daniel Garcia being champion because, like I said, I understand the company line. Brody King's the greatest TNT. Brody Lee is the greatest TNT champion ever.
Correct.
But Cody made that belt.
Yes.
And so the fact that I get to hear that makes it very, very. I've heard somebody acknowledge that makes it awesome because I have my TNT belt here and I have it because Cody had it.
Absolutely. And I can acknowledge this championship again. It'll be a lovely day. I'll actually be able to talk about this title and be able to talk about the things that are happening.
I plan
very glad about that.
I plan on getting as many TNT champions as I can to sign my belt, but I'll probably skip over Jack Perry. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, and again, we'll just eventually get to a point where maybe we just won't acknowledge that it ever happened. Maybe it'll just be a weird dream that we all had and just, it never really happened.
Dude, Jack Perry is, it was not that bad. I'm sorry. I gotta say, it wasn't that bad. I don't even think of it as bad. I just thought it was fine. And they didn't really build up anyone like really chasing it. It just felt like it was just there a lot.
I will put it to you, like I said, the same way. If we go back to when Adam Copeland had the TNT championship and unfortunately had to lose it because he got hurt. You go from May 29th when the belt was vacant and they were obviously just getting to the point where they had to have somebody win it. If you stopped it there and in all of that time up until the present day where Daniel Garcia won the TNT championship and you take out all of that time in between of that title reign, would you miss anything?
I'm actually sitting here looking and just trying to okay, so his coffin match with Darby was good.
No, it wasn't.
I mean, he just kind of beat him, but yeah, he lost. Jack Perry with Leo Rush. I like that match. I'm looking at all his matches that he had, and yeah, I mean, you're kind of correct. I wouldn't have called it bad until I'm kind of looking at it, and I can't think of any of these matches.
The only thing I could even remotely say that I would be sad that we wouldn't have is that I wouldn't get to see Marco Stunt at least one last time.
Yeah. So,
but that doesn't mean it couldn't happen somewhere down the line. Everything in that reign was meaningless, and a reign can be bad. I'm not going to waste time on this anymore. This is the last thing I said. A reign can be bad and have bad matches and a wrestler who people hate, like genuinely hate, and don't want you to have the championship. That's why I brought up Jinder, because people hated that he was champion. They thought it was a joke and it disrespected the belt itself. But at least people felt something. The absence of feeling anything I find as worse because it means you did nothing. You were given an opportunity. You were given a representation of reaching a certain level in professional wrestling, and you did nothing. You proceeded to just sit on your hands for 160 plus days. So why did I give it to you in the first place? If I wanted somebody to just hold it and do nothing, I would just keep it on the fucking side of the bed. Literally the last thing I'll say on it. So the absence of anything good to me is the worst. Jack Perry's title reign was the absence of anything. Moving forward, we will be proclivity of positivity, and I will continue to not have to talk about Jack Perry until he shows his stupid mug on TV once again, but at least I'll be able to treat him with a little less respect because he's not a champion anymore. So there we fucking go. Let's move in.
You treat him with less respect? I don't think that's possible.
Oh, it's possible, motherfucker. It's very, very possible.
I don't know.
This is me holding a little bit back, too, because I could go scorched earth on this motherfucker at any time. Moving forward, international championship match between Konosuke Takeshita and Ricochet. I like this match, but I think everybody kind of agreed it went a bit long, which is weird because Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher went longer than this match by a few minutes. It was still under 20 minutes, but it felt like it went longer than it needed to. I felt like there was a point where I think Takeshita hit a really great knee strike, and from that point, that could have been the finish. But I felt like it was a good match, but one that maybe overstayed its welcome a little bit. I thought Konosuke still looked amazing, but Ricochet had some good moments in there too. It just felt like it went a little long. I don't know. Maybe you can have a good statement on that because you were there and you got to feel the crowd's reaction to the match. Did it feel long?
I don't know if it felt long. You know what it felt to me? Boring. I love Takeshita. I glow over Takeshita. It is impossible to have a boring match with Takeshita. It is impossible. Ricochet does the impossible. He's out of this world.
The one and only. Having a boring match with Konosuke Takeshita.
Dude, I never thought in my life I would start looking at my phone doing the Takeshita match. And I did it like not even thinking about it. I'm like watching the match and I'm so not emotionally invested or any type of invested in the match that I start looking at my phone. And then I realize that I'm looking at my phone and I make myself stop and watch the match. But me grabbing my phone and starting and looking at it should tell you everything you need to know about this match. Like, a lot of people have been down on Ricochet, and I'm like, no, Ricochet, this is going to be the match. He got Takeshita. Takeshita's a banger machine. This is what Takeshita does, is put on these amazing matches. This is the match that's going to make you know who Ricochet really is. He's going to show you in this match who he was. If this was your opinion of Ricochet was from this match, you would be like, that dude kind of boring. And he needs to decide on a finisher, and it needs to be good. That little point at you and clothesline, not good. The little slam move he does, not good. Ricochet, do something better. Do better. That's it. That's all. Do better. And that's all I can say about this match. I could, go on for 20 minutes, but I was just, after this match, disappointment was the only word I could come up with.
Yeah, again, it leads you wanting more is the big thing. And again, Ricochet, I still think has had really good matches in AEW in his early goings, but Konosuke is a guy that I feel like it's one of the guys we say it's nearly impossible to have a bad match, and this wasn't a bad match.
It wasn't a bad match. It was a boring match.
It was. Yes, it felt like it just never really kicked in, and then when it did kick in, to me, it started actually really getting into the high spots. It's like, oh, okay, then it would finish, and then it would feel at least like, okay, that was solid enough. But then it kept going, and I was just kind of like, you could have finished the match like 4 minutes ago. I don't know why it's still going, but okay, I guess. But Takeshita gets the win and retains the international championship.
Falcon Arrow off the top rope. I did think that looked cool.
Yeah, I did as well.
But like I said, I feel like I'm still giving Ricochet time to get his sea legs under him. Mm-hmm. This is a more of a freestyle company. The level of work as far as high level work in this company is much higher than where he was from. So I think he has to decide who this version of Ricochet is as a performer, and he has to believe it, and he has to execute it on screen. So, and like this is coming, like I said, I've never wrestled. I've never performed at a high level of anything. But as a fan, it's just like there is something missing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just was like, it was one of those matches where it was just kind of felt like, this could have been so much better. But hoping that Ricochet does finally figure things out in AEW and finds his role and finds his identity that he wants to go with, because I think when he does, he'll be a huge asset to AEW. But, it It was just tough.
Yeah,
it could have been just so much better.
He's had people I respect wondering if he's on the downside of his career. I'm fighting against that, but the more boring performances come, the less leg I have to stand on as a fan.
There you go. And I think that's about as blunt as you can say it. Yeah.
Yeah.
On to Swerve Strickland going up against the Hurt Syndicate's Bobby Lashley. First off, Swerve Strickland is my dog. This man came out in a Chromacopia Tyler the Creator outfit, and I popped.
Yeah.
I was so hyped. I know you don't know what that was.
I don't even know what that, you like that whole sentence. I think Tyler Creator's a performer.
Yes, he's a rapper.
Chronocopia. I saw
Chromacopia. It's his newest album that just came out. Yes.
I was like, he's wearing his face on top of his face. I'm like, I don't know what that means. Yeah, this whole thing just went over my head. And hey, Swerve is for the people. I love Swerve, but like he does these things that it's like I have no idea what's going on here.
Yeah, basically, if you're wondering what it was, I'll send you the link of the actual logo of the album cover. This is what it was referencing. I'm sending Floyd the album cover for Chromacopia by Tyler the Creator. This is what he was referencing in terms of the outfit. I love it because I love that album too. That album's really good. You should definitely listen to it. If you haven't listened to Chromacopia by Tyler the Creator, I suggest that you do. So I was hyped off of him wearing that outfit. And Bobby Lashley came out and just became, I think Nigel said it, called him superhuman. And that's what I saw this is. Bobby Lashley immediately cementing himself in AEW and proceeded to just, in the early goings, he was just leveling Swerve and just showing so much strength and dominance in this match. The Swerve stomp through the announce table was a wild spot. The DDT that Bobby got hit with as well by Swerve off of the apron was vicious looking too. So those two spots, Swerve was able to fight back and starting to get a little bit back after Bobby was so in control during the early parts of this match. MVP, though, distracts him to get a belly-to-belly suplex, spears him through the barricade, which was such a really good spot. They also booted out Shelton Benjamin in the early parts of this match, too, as he got caught trying to trip up Swerve. But eventually, after he spears him again in the ring, he gets the Hurt Lock, and then he gets stopped. The match gets stopped. Bobby Lashley wins, and then he puts Nana in the Hurt Lock, and you got the Hurt Syndicate just showing their dominance already in AEW, and as a group to watch out for. Yeah, these motherfuckers arrived, and Swerve got leveled. Had some really great moments in this match, but he got leveled.
Did you hear the chant? There was a whole section in New Jersey chanting, "We hurt people. We hurt people." Did y'all hear that on TV?
I don't know if I heard that personally.
Yeah, no, it was kind of cool. They liked that. They apparently liked the lyric from the song. Yeah. This match was everything it was supposed to be. And I want to shout out Swerve, but this is going to drive home another point about Swerve and Will Ospreay and how they are the example of what every wrestler in AEW should be. Mm-hmm. Swerve was undefeated most of this year. Lost to Bryan Danielson in an amazing moment at All In, and Bryan Danielson had his moment, right? Mm-hmm. And then Will Ospreay made Swerve look good, right? Mm-hmm. And then Swerve comes in, and he establishes Bobby Lashley in one of his first, like his big first match in AEW. He established Bobby Lashley as a monster. By establishing Bobby Lashley, now he has Bobby Lashley to work with, and when he finally overcomes it, it's going to make him look like a bigger star. And then Bobby Lashley can go work with Will Ospreay or whatever, but he has been established.
This is how you do it, dude. This is how you fucking do it.
Like I said, I hear rumors. And like I said, rumors, innuendo, none of it matters, that people don't want to lose. But these are like two of your most over people in your company showing that you lose, you win. that is professional wrestling. And that's why I was like, I don't like, dude, this is AEW. And I just like, I was watching it and I was just like, dude, he made Bobby Lashley look like a god in this match. Really. And it was like, now when he beats Bobby Lashley, whenever that happens, he has beat a god. You know what I mean? And it's just like, it's going to do more to help Swerve. And I just like, it seems simple sometimes. And like I said, I am really talking as a fan, not as an expert. I'm talking about what I like to see. What is good when I watch wrestling, how I enjoy it the most is when good guys are overcoming huge obstacles. And this was perfectly well done. The next match did it too. But shout out to Bobby and Swerve, because this might not have been like a 5-star, 6-star match, but it was the perfect match. It was exactly what this match needed to be.
It established something moving forward.
And
again, not every match of a feud has to be that. It doesn't have to be 5 stars every single time. But what this did was made Bobby Lashley look like a killer because he took down Swerve Strickland, a guy who survived a whole lot of shit from Hangman Page just a few months ago, even though he lost that match. And again, Swerve is still the biggest star in AEW. I feel like one of the biggest stars. And he lost 2 pretty big high-profile matches, but it doesn't matter because he still is massively popular. And when he does climb back that mountain to get Bobby Lashley and try to take down the Hurt Syndicate and try to get a little bit of momentum back, it's going to be huge. It's going to be fucking huge.
He lost, but it's still his house.
It's still his fucking house, man. It's still his house.
Yes.
But moving on now, finally we get to the main gear AEW World Championship match between Jon Moxley and freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. Just kind of going through the moments of this match real quick before we talk about it. Orange started. Great little moment where he jumps Moxley during the Gian. So he hits the orange punch multiple times during the ring introductions. I would have wished Justin Roberts kept doing it until the punch connected, but he kind of stopped as he saw Orange was going for it. I needed it to keep going until he hit the punch. It was just a little nitpick, but that's just me. But Orange trying to jump Moxley early. He then starts beating him down, but then Moxley proceeds to gouge his eyes, get a steel chair and kick him in the head as he's sitting on it, and then sandwiched his head against the steel steps, which busted Orange Cassidy open. And then the whole match was basically Moxley ripping at the scar of Orange Cassidy, getting blood all over himself, and just beating the hell out of him. And there's a moment where he rakes at the back of Orange Cassidy with his nails. Orange returns the favor, and that's where Moxley then gets hit with a diving DDT by Orange Cassidy. That's when he starts kind of fighting his way back, and he's hitting orange punches. He rolls up, gets a near fall. There's a point where he hits another orange punch and a beach break, but Moxley kicks out. Pac and Claudio come out and surround the ring. That's when the conglomeration evens up the odds and chases off those guys. But then Marina Shafir is about to hit Orange Cassidy with the briefcase. Willow Nightingale comes out and gets the biggest reaction of the match, I feel like, and brawls with Marina Shafir. Referee's got his back turned. Orange Cassidy hits Moxley with the case, but Mox kicks out. And that's when he holds the referee after that. Yuta comes out in a hoodie, hits the Psycho knee. Moxley then hits the Death Rider. Orange Cassidy falls to Jon Moxley, who retains the AEW World Championship. They then proceed to start. Well, actually, you know what? Before we get into that, because there was so much fucking shit that happened after this match, that's just the match itself. I want to save that part for afterwards. But Floyd, going to you, though, this main event, Moxley gets the win. What did you kind of get off of this main event match before we talk about what happened afterwards? Because that's a whole bag of worms that we're going to get into.
They got me in a match where I knew who was going to win. They performed in such a way that I was convinced Orange Cassidy was about to beat John Moxley.
The case spot got you.
Case spot got me. I got. And again, masters of their craft. Orange Cassidy, John Moxley. I knew who was going to win. There was no doubt. I thought I was going to be bored into this match because I knew who was going to win. I said before the show, there's only one match I really don't care about, and that's the main event because I knew who was going to win. Through their performance, they got me. They got me on 2 false finishes where I absolutely knew Orange Cassidy was going to win, even though I came in that match knowing Orange Cassidy was going to lose. So that is my hat tipped as a fan. Completely engaged. This is what I'm talking about. Like, they took all my preconceived notions and used them against me to entertain me. I got, and I fucking love this match because of it. Honestly, Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher was the best match of the night. For me, and I thought Mercedes and Chris put on an amazing match. This was probably my favorite match of the night because they got me so good.
Yeah, I can respect that. For me, I couldn't get into it that much. I thought it was an entertaining main event, but again, it's just personal things. Again, it's just I wasn't a huge fan of this being the opening feud to begin with, and I don't know. There was never really any like real
they never got you
factor for me. It never really just got me fully invested. And again, I've always been kind of stingy when it comes to being like Moxley's match types and his stuff like that. I've always been a bit stingy in that regard. But I can't deny it wasn't good. It was a good main event. Not my favorite, but I respected it at least. What happened afterwards was interesting because a lot of fucking shit happened. So first,
Yeah.
Yuta gets cleaning solution, and he pours it all over Orange Cassidy, gets it in his face and shit like that. That's when Hangman comes out, jumps Wheeler Yuta and hits him with a steel chair, gets in the face of Moxley. Christian Cage comes out, hits the kill switch on Moxley, and Page is kind of looking at Christian and then just kind of walks away. And then Christian looks like he's going to cash in his contract for a world championship match. Jay White then comes out and ambushes Christian Cage with the Blade Runner. Pac and Claudio then come back and double team Jay White. Then the Death Riders themselves run off and get back to their pickup truck that they arrived in. And then that pickup truck gets ran over by a car. They then find another car, jump like the valet person, grab another car and drive off. And Darby Allin is revealed to be the person who rammed into the truck, smashes the pickup truck with a skateboard, screaming how he wants to end this. And it's been basically confirmed that there was no stunt double and then Darby just got into the car. He actually ran into that fucking truck.
Correct. That was the point I was going to actually bring up. That it was actually him.
Darby who did that.
Yeah.
Psychopath.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot to unpack. First thing that went through my head was, this is too much. I thought there was way too much shit in this. I was entertained, but I was also just like, holy fuck. I can't even get my head straight on what the fuck is going on. Floyd, though, you can give me your thoughts when this whole shebang happened.
Dude, I thought it was amazing, and I thought it was absolutely what was needed. The reason
it was the best finish to the show, for sure.
Yeah, the reason I said I heard people call this like WCW booking or whatever. I'm like, dude, when you have a result that everyone knows, right? Mm-hmm. This is the shit you need. You know, you need something like this, you know, when everyone knows the result. So I don't know. I was ecstatic. I love this.
We needed something insane to close the show off, just to give people something to talk about. Yeah. I guess just more so I was left wondering, you know, Hangman, why exactly were you okay with helping Christian possibly cash in?
Oh, no. Did you not hear the audio in the ring?
No.
He told him no, and Christian said, I'll give you the first shot And that's when he handed him the thing to win.
Oh, I see. But he still jumped Wheeler Yuta though, and John what was his problem with them?
No, he was trying to come challenge Moxley because he wanted the title.
Okay. Because
you got to remember that it's still Hangman's 100% focus is trying to get that belt.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so there's that. And then Jay White then coming in to stop Christian.
Yeah, and Jay White comes in because he hates Christian because Christian is the reason he was on the shelf. Like the original thing.
I knew. That part I knew.
So it's like Christian tried to get Moxley. I mean, Hangman just came out to basically challenge Moxley. Christian's like saw it as an opportunity to cash it in. You know, Hangman and Christian's like, oh, I'll give you the title shot. And then Jay White just wanted to fuck up Christian's world because all he wants in the world is to stop Christian from getting the title.
And then Darby Allin just wants to kill John Moxley.
Yeah,
it's not even about the belt itself. Yeah, Darby Allin just wants to kill John Moxley.
Yeah, because he is just the representative of AEW. And it's like when I was funny because I was reading on Twitter how people didn't get this and this was convoluted. And I was just like, man, if you don't watch the show, just say you don't watch the show. You know, that's how I felt like to people. I'm like, and it's fine, you know, but it was just like, but no, they it
was a lot. I will say, like they were doing, like multiple stories were converging in on one.
Yes, and like I said, that was like I came out and some people like they hated the ending, and then some people like me was like I thought that was like one of the better endings of a pay-per-view because the thing is you got the finish, that was over, you know. Yeah.
I think it's just because most AEW fans are just they're pretty what's the word I'm trying to use, like conditioned to expect a finish of a pay-per-view to just be after an insane match and everyone's hyped off of just how great that match was. Problem is Moxley doesn't wrestle matches like that.
Yeah. So
that.
Yeah, he gave you I thought they had a really good match.
It was a good match, but he doesn't wrestle the matches that you close off the show with. Like
that over-the-top ending. And the idea that a face finally, like Moxley and them were, like, literally leaving the same way every week, dominating, leaving. A face was actually smart enough to be like, you know what? I know how they're leaving. Boom, and just ran into their car, and they literally
the Darby spot. And again, like that's the part of the shit that I'm waiting for. That I've said it for weeks and weeks and weeks. We know what this is trying to set up towards. Darby needs to be AEW World Champion, and he needs to beat John Moxley to do it. And Darby is out here being this absolute heartbeat of this company, and he has gone full psycho mode, and I love it.
Yep, and I love it. I mean. John Moxley is the NWO, and Darby Allin is Sting.
Basically,
if that's how you have to think about it, if you have to think all old school way, that's what it is. Like so, Darby Allin is chasing after the NWO right now. So, so you're gonna see a lot of times the Death Riders are gonna come out on top, but it's all building to that eventual moment when Darby Allin gets the title.
I'm just waiting for the moment where Moxley really hooks me for that, because I need Moxley to hook me so that way that moment of Darby eventually getting it hits even more for me. It'll hit because Darby's my guy. I need that moment where John really hooks me. And I know he can get it because I mean he's John fucking Moxley, but I'm just hoping there's a point where like he really sells it to me and I get hooked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for that moment.
Dude, so I just said this. I was like, there is a thing that can be done, and I don't want to say it on the show. I don't want to ruin it, but there's a thing that the Death Riders can do that I think will solidify them as the heels people everybody just want to see you get beat up. I just don't know if they're going to do it. And, so we're going to see as we go forward. But I really, like, on the scale, everybody's like, some people are like, this is one of the greatest AEW pay-per-views of all time. I was like, if you're going, like, tier 1, like, all out I think it was 2021, or is it 22? I don't know which one it was. The one where Bryan Danielson and everybody shows up. We were at the show.
Oh, it was 2022.
2022. Yeah, like, that's, like, a tier 1 or whatever. I would put this pay-per-view
Actually, no, 2021. It was 21. It was 21. It was 21.
I would put this pay-per-view clearly in a tier 2 maybe top a tier 3 pay-per-view.
I'd say top of tier 3, I would say, would be a good spot to put it.
Yeah, so it's either lower tier 2 or top tier 3. But I'm not going to say it's the greatest pay-per-view all the time. For simply put, we have been at all these pay-per-views, and we've been at some of the greatest pay-per-views of all time.
Correct.
So it has nothing to do with this pay-per-view being bad. It's just the other pay-per-views that I've seen have been like mind-blowing, and I don't think this pay-per-view was mind-blowing. I thought it was really well done.
there was really a lot to like on this show. There was just some really good matches. I think the thing that I took away from this pay-per-view more so was that for a few wrestlers, there were star-making performances for some guys that are really going to be able to just sink their teeth into stuff. And for the girls, for that matter, too. I think Chris Statlander had one of her best babyface matches of all time. That's the more thing that I took. This show to me, like the established people did what they did. They did their shit, and they did a good job. The guys and girls that I feel like were just kind of just waiting for that moment where like shit clicks, or was just like making sure you realize, hey, I'm here, I've arrived, take fucking notice, like a Bobby Lashley. This show had a lot of that. Okay. Kyle Fletcher, Lashley, Statlander, like there was some just really big, and fucking AJ, I guess, Big Boom AJ, I think for that matter as well, where they just really, there were some really, really great showings from guys and girls that like were just really staking a claim for themselves as people to look out for in 2025 of AEW. I think that was the thing that I'll take away from this pay-per-view more so than anything.
Yep, I could definitely see that. But yeah, I was very happy with the pay-per-view, very happy I made the show. I want to just shout out to Jackie Rodriguez. She was my host for the weekend in New Jersey. First of all, I didn't know how mountainy New Jersey was. I am from the flatlands of Oklahoma, so some stuff that might seem obvious to y'all is not obvious to me. And yes, there was mountains, and I was just like, oh Lord, this is high. But she had a great time. Took me to a bunch of places to eat. I had Peruvian food for the first time. We kicked it. Dude, she had this basket of like ready for me. It had Reese's, Kit Kats, like an almond bar, like some sleep pills with THC in it, like a towel. Like, dude, it was like better than any hotel I've ever stayed in. So then she brings out this let-out couch, right? And then she has like a memory foam mattress put on top of the let-out couch. Man. And when I say this, I sunk into the bed, and I slept so hard that I physically couldn't get up in the morning. I was so sunk into the bed. So when I tell you 10 out of 10 host this 10 out of 10 experience, I'm not a big fan of that part of the country just because of how expensive it is and how busy everything is. But she made me want to come back to New Jersey. I will never live there. Good Lord, I will never live there. But no, but she would definitely make me want to visit. So anytime there is pay-per-views in that New Jersey area, I will be going to see my good friend Jackie Rodriguez. So shout out to you.
Shout out.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, folks, that is going to do it for our full gear review episode of All Things Elite. Once again, will be recording a Dynamite review this Friday that will hopefully air this weekend, where we'll go over day one of the Continental Classic for the Thanksgiving Eve show of Dynamite. We're going to have that all ready to go, but we got to enjoy Thanksgiving with our families, so we're going to do that.
Yes.
And we hope you guys do as well.
So throw this on when you're waiting for the food to get ready tomorrow, or you want to slick that earbud in because someone in your family's talking your ear off and you don't want to pay attention to them anymore. Make sure we are there to help distract you from that annoying person.
Just throw us on when you have to watch the garbage, when the Cowboys and the Giants are on, and you got to watch. Shout out CMU's own Cooper Rush and Tommy DeVito on Thanksgiving Day after the Lions get their win over the Bears, of course. But when you're forced to watch that and on the TV, just throw on All Things Elite. Throw on this episode. You'll enjoy it significantly more than that hellfire.
Yes, you it would be, yeah. It would be amazing that you spend your Thanksgiving with us.
Boom. There you go. Guys, thank you so much for listening and tuning in every single week. Download this fine show on YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever you choose to listen to us on, and turn automatic downloads on so you don't miss a single episode. Rate, review, subscribe, share us around with your friends, family, coworkers, whoever you wish, and follow us on Twitter. We are at ATElitePod, at Social Suplex are the guys that make this show possible. Check out all the other shows they have on their network. I am at Austin Sumowicz, SZUMOWICZ, and Floyd is at Floyd Johnson Jr. on Twitter. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys if you celebrate. Happy beginning of the Christmas season, the holiday season. We hope you guys enjoy your time with your family if you celebrate, and hope you enjoy your Thanksgiving. I will toss it off to Floyd so he can take us home on this edition of All Things Elite.
I will keep it short and sweet. Happy Thanksgiving. Go over the food. Don't let the food go over you. But I will leave you how I always leave you. Whether it is home, work, or school, always do your best to be elite.